And we're back, baby. Uh, welcome back. Welcome back, Paul. Don't mind the hair. I have like juice in it. It's a little secret recipe. I put my hair in my beard and stuff like that. Anyways, don't mind it. So I want to make this video about love, and about my experience with women. I've been I feel like there's someone over there. I hear like music. And I hear ruffling. I feel like someone's like right behind me. It's kind of creeping me out. Okay. Anyways, I feel like no one knows what love is, and it's so funny. I'll run into like these religious women, and it's so funny. It's so ironic how they're so scarce with their love, yet their God like apparently loves everybody. So it's like, God forbid that I just come to the relationship fully accepting of who you are and where you are, right? And that I just love everything about you. It's almost like they put this illusion of time on love, right? Like, oh, you can't love me if you haven't known me for, you can only love me once this amount of time has passed. It's like, that's where everyone's love is tied, is to like this illusion of time. And it's so false. It's so not true. It's so out of alignment with what love actually is, at least the love that I know. It's such a game they play, and it's so funny because of the illusion that they believe in, right? And I get it, especially for the ones that believe that who they are is who they are, when that's not who they are. And it's like when someone struggles to love themselves, if you love them effortlessly, they don't believe it. Because they have no reference point. They're like, I have such a hard time loving me, right? I've had such a hard time loving me for however old they are, right? If they're like 29 years old, it's been impossible for me to love me for 29 years. You've known me for a couple of weeks. How do you love me? You know me for a couple months, right? Whatever the time is. It just seems to be that the variable for acceptance is time, right? The more time that has passed, the more they will allow the more that they will allow themselves to accept that, your claim that you love them. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things. I wanted to talk about pickup, and the very skewed perception that men, just speaking from my experience and my friends, that they get around the love that they think women don't have for them. And then I kind of want to talk about religion, and how there seems to be a pretty big hole for me in religion. So the first would be pickup. It's like social dynamics, the Venusian arts. It's right, like scripting, like how to get women, basically, like what to say, how to do it, when to say it, right? What to do here and there, stuff like that, right? I've noticed that because I would go out with guys and we would pick up chicks, and I've noticed everyone that would do that with us, we all had a very I'm not saying this is true for every pickup artist, but at the time, everyone that I knew that would go out with us, we all had a very skewed perception of women. We all wanted to be loved for who we are, yet we weren't who we were, right? we put on this mask, so that people wouldn't see who we were. It's literally why we were running game. It's what they call it, running game, running pickup. But we believed that they weren't capable of it. So we wanted it, but then we were like, oh, they're just hoes, they're just whores, they're just, sluts, like fuck them, right? So I found that very, very strange now that I talk about it and say it out loud. It's like we were going to find what we wanted from people that we believed could never give it to us. Sounds kind of insane when you think about it. But the funny thing is that we would always be like, oh, they're not capable. Like it's conditional, it's conditional, it's conditional, right? Like this was when there was like an explosion of like red pill. So you had all the alphas and all the big guys, all the bald guys that are on testosterone and hitting weights and, making videos and talking about red pill and, just really very forceful, like dynamics, not powerful, but very forceful. Like it was very not cutthroat. I'm trying to find the words for it. I just don't play the game by those rules anymore. I just don't align with them. But I found it so funny how we all thought that all these women we were approaching, and this is the funny thing, not just the women we were approaching, but all women. We believed like all women were incapable of like love. And I think it's funny, and I think it's the illusion of the majority. That's what I'm going to call this. The illusion of the majority is that when a whole population doesn't know what love is, you'll blame the other side for not loving you the way you want to be loved. But it's just like, it's not the other side. It's the illusion of the majority. So it's like if you run into a majority of women, especially in the environment that we were in, who love you for what you do and not who you are, I think it will create a perception that it's very hard to see past, right? So we were very much of our circumstances and not able to see through it or beyond it. So I'm now realizing, like, not just those women, but also guys, but also the majority. I don't know if this is, global. It's definitely local and definitely, I would assert national. That no one really knows what love is. Like, so it's like we're just blaming the other side, thinking it's their nature. Oh, they're hypergamous. They're this. It's like, okay, sure. Like we have nature too. So I just found that really interesting. Sorry, I'm thinking. What was I talking about? I was talking about the next topic was religion and relating that to the pharmaceutical industry. And what was I going to talk about with this, though? Kind of lost my train of thought there. Why was I saying that? Oh, no one knows what love is. So it's like we were just blaming the other side. But it's like it's like so now when I'm talking to women, I'm talking to a ton of women now, and I'm having much healthier relationships, and it's quite beautiful. It's very beautiful. This is slowly becoming the life that I've dreamed of. Not even slowly, it's more so it happens like immediately, and then now it's just taking time to accrue, to build up. Does that make sense? With who I am and what I am now. And I'm finding like a lot of women are they're not able to relate to the love that I currently am, right? At least initially, right? There's a lot of resistance to it because it's not what they grew up with, and it's not how they define love. And I find it so ironic, especially for the religious women, because the man that they believe in, Jesus, loved everyone. At least that's the story I was, I think that's not true, because you can like go to hell and shit like that, and that doesn't sound like a very loving thing to do. But like, hey, believe in me. It sounds narcissistic. Believe in me or you will perish for eternity. It just sounds like it's so funny how an immortal can do that, but if a mortal does that, it's narcissistic. But if an immortal does it, it's not narcissistic. I'd love to have conversations with religious people about this to kind of pick their brains on it, so I can have a sounding board of perception, rather than just saying what I'm saying and it not bounce off of anything. I find it so funny because they're like, oh, you can't love me. You don't this, you don't that, you don't. It's like, Okay, but Jesus can come down from the heavens and love you. What makes me any different? Like what? Like why do I have to know you for 12 years? Why do I have to know your favorite color? Why can't I just love you before I even meet you? Why can't I just love everyone and everything? You know what I'm saying? Because I love myself. Like why? Like what is so? And it's so funny. It's just like it especially the religious ones. They're so fucking like. They're so just like, nope, 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 nope. And it's so funny because they'll apply it to him. Like they'll love Jesus immediately. Like they'll claim their love for Jesus, and it's just like, wait, you just got like saved yesterday. Like what do you know? But then I'll apply that to them, and they're like, oh no, you have to read my whole Bible. You know, you have to know everything about me, and you have to have been pledged to me for a year for you to love me and me accept it. And it's just like, okay, but you can love Jesus immediately. You don't know anything about him, but you love him. And it's so funny because I feel like a lot of people in religion don't know Jesus like at all, especially the ones that say they know Jesus. The ones that are so convinced that they know who Jesus is, I feel like those people know Jesus the least. We can get into religion now, I find it so like, I don't know if hysterical is the right word. It makes me hysterical, that's for sure. It makes me crazy. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is triggering the hell out of me. How like the church will produce products of everything but Jesus. Right? Like if you went to college and no one got a job, it's like, okay, this model doesn't really work. Like let's change something here. I feel like that's what the church does, at least for me, like the Catholic Church. You get away with language. Like you cannot be a good person. You can just profess your love for Jesus, and it kind of bypasses everyone's radar. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't really care what you say. Like I'm no longer the person I used to be. Like I don't take your language seriously. You know, like I listen to it and I can hear and see right through it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you don't embody Jesus to me at all. Like you are not an embodiment of Jesus. And it's just like, I feel like everyone subscribes to this man who walked his way, who wanted you to walk your way. But instead of creating other leaders, he created a whole world of worshipers and followers. And I feel like that's the last thing he wanted. I feel like he wanted people to do what he did, right? I don't know. The thing about religion is it fundamentally goes exactly against my kind of work, and I've seen the effect that my kind of work has on people. And I'm like, this is the work Jesus would do, like 100%. If Jesus was alive today, this is exactly what he would do. He would microdose enlightenment, right, in the most loving way possible. When I say microdose enlightenment, like I mean basically dissolve the you that you think you are so that you can get closer to realizing that you are God. And I said realize because I was going to say closer to God, but you can't get closer to what you are. You can only realize what you've always been. And I think that's where the distance kind of comes into play, is where we are so far away from realizing who we actually are, that we follow this man, and as a savior. And to do that, it's like you have to accept that something is wrong with you to be saved. And it's like that alone goes against the very nature of my work, goes against the very nature of my mentor, Peter Crone's work, where we help you realize there is nothing wrong with you. And I see the effect that it has on people through Peter and through my own work and through my own clients. And I'm like, wow, like this is what Jesus would do. This is what Jesus was trying to do. And so I love Jesus. I just don't love the Jesus that everyone talks about. The vast majority, the popular vote of who the world says Jesus is. I just don't. I think it's absolute nonsense. to be quite honest with you, I think it is the biggest lie ever told. And I think it's funny how, because I've seen people go into religion and they're just like, dude, I'm like, I'm a sinner, like I'm a and they just have all of this shame. And I'm just like, Jesus would never want you to experience that, like ever. He would never want you to feel that way. That is a hellish emotion, you know. And this is another thing is this would blow a Catholic's or Christian's mind, is that hell exists inside heaven. And I'm just gonna let that sit for a second. Hell exists inside heaven, and I'll make a whole nother video on that. And I got this from my mentor, and it's quite amazing, because when you realize it, you start to really, like, my whole shift on religion. I relate to it completely differently. I see it in a whole new light. Like I said this, and maybe I shouldn't say this on YouTube, you know, and maybe I shouldn't say this because you know, clients might one day see this and then, you know, react in a way. But I want authenticity over everything, regardless of where I'm at. And that was my biggest thing, was taking the permanence of someone's perspective and getting triggered by it, not realizing that they can change it. So I'm going to say this, knowing that I can change my mind, but also knowing that the vast majority of the population, that if they were to ever see this, or even the current subscribers that I have see this, would get so triggered by it that they would try to cancel me or worse, right? I'm aware of that as well before I say this. But I had a conversation, because I have a friend who is very into like the Jewish community and how they're you know, controlling the world and stuff like that. And I don't really subscribe to that. I listen to it and I'll entertain, you know, his perspective, but I don't latch on to it. You know, I kind of just let that stuff pass by me. I'm more focused on truth and things that I can prove, and the benefit of realizing that what I believe in can help me. And if I did believe in that, I don't think that would help me in any way, right? So I just choose not to occupy my mental space with that thought. So I just let it pass by, whether it's true or not. I'm just like, oh, okay, because there are things that are true that I'm like, okay, even if I, you know, occupy my brain with that, what good is that going to do me? You know, what good is awareness of evil if it doesn't change anything? It's like, okay, cool, you know, I want change. So, but I was like, you know, again, this is going to be a sensitive warning right here. If you're listening right here, I'm about to say something that can be viewed as extremely insensitive. I'm about to say something that can be viewed as something extremely blasphemous. You know, I'm sure that some people will say it's even worse, but I was like, because he always talks about the Jewish community and how they do this and do that, and I was like, what if Christianity was a psyop by the Jewish community? Like, just, what if Christianity was a psyop by the Jewish community? Because, again, I relate that to the pharmaceutical industry, where they give you the disease so that they can create the cure and then sell you the cure. And it was like, what if they created you to believe, like, this religion, for you to believe that you're bad and that you're not good and that you're born imperfect and a sinner, and all of these very low energetic states that really just can really fuck up a person for their whole lives, only for them to be like, okay, but I'm going to feel this whole way my whole life and live this way by this code so that I can be accepted into heaven. And it's just like, brother, heaven is here. Heaven and hell is here. It's right now. Like, what are you talking about? You know, but it's just like, man, what if, and again, this is not, you know, I'm not interested in really proving this to be wrong or true. It was just a thought I had, and I said it to him, and he was like, huh, wow. And he's religious, you know, so me and him have a very special relationship where we can hold a lot of space for one another, regardless of how, and to me, that's love. You know, that's a beautiful relationship, where it's like, regardless of how much you disagree with this, you are able to hold enough space for me and my ideas, and I'm able to hold enough space for you and your ideas, regardless of how much we disagree with them or how triggered we become by them. So he was very emotionally intelligent in that moment, which I would assert is actual intelligence. You know, it's so funny when I see an intellectual and they have no emotional intelligence. I'm like, you're not intelligent to me. That's not intelligence. So, anyways, the whole like it's like because you have to it's like the pharmaceutical industry where you have to admit that you are inherently wrong, that you are not good in order to accept Jesus Christ as your savior. And it's just like I think Jesus was trying to say, be your own savior. You are God. You are Jesus. You are Christ. You know. So I found that funny because I had another conversation with another friend, and I told him about how I view the pharmaceutical industry and religion. And he's like, wow, I never looked at it that way. Like, holy shit. And it gave him a new perspective. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, isn't it? Like, isn't that very similar? Where it's like the pharmaceutical industry cannot sell you their drugs, it cannot profit, it cannot exist, it cannot live if they didn't give you the disease to begin with. You know, if they didn't create an environment, an ideal, whatever it is, an ideal for religion, more so, you know, circumstance or an environment for the pharmaceutical industry, excuse me. But I'm just like, yeah, it's so funny. Like, it's like people want me to believe in Jesus, but they don't want me to act like him. Like, let me just go down to hellish energetic states, and then you'll accept me as your own. Let me just live in hell with you. Right? It's like, dude, I lived there for 29 years. I'm good, brother. I'm good on that. I'm in heaven now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in and out. You know? Whereas before, all I was in hell. And I'd argue I'm way more in heaven now than I am in hell. And it's just like what? You couldn't? Oh, hello. Wow. Thank you. Please don't shit on me. There's a chair in front of me that has a bunch of bird shit. Oh, this motherfucker's sitting right ahead. Did I just get shit on? No, okay. Jesus Christ, that motherfucker. I think it's something from the tree that dropped. Is that bird out of there? Yeah, these birds love to shit on this chair in front of me. Damn, how do you look up to see if a bird's gonna shit on you without... Where is this motherfucker? Okay, I think he's gone. But yeah, so it's just like I feel like they create this what would you call it? Like a brainwash, like a indoctrination. That something is inherently wrong with you. Like, you are born bad. And I'm just like, man, what a that's like a great psyop. Like, and again, I'm not into the whole conspiracy thing. I'm just familiar with what psyops are because of my friend. And I was like, yo, that's a genius psyop. Like, that's actually a genius psyop, because look at how big it is, right? If it were a psyop, look at how successful that would be, to get all of these people to believe that they are inherently bad. But I find it so funny because people don't get triggered when I will worship this man and live nothing like him. But as soon as I don't worship him and I live exactly like him, people, and I claim that, people lose their fucking minds. And I'm just like, huh, that's so funny. Because if I didn't say anything, you'd be like, wow, dude, you live very holy like, you know? But as soon as I say something, they get so triggered by the sound. And it's just like, it's just like, wow, look at that. Like, I don't think Jesus would want that for you. I think he would want you to kind of like enlighten yourself so that whatever I say doesn't affect you. But, and again, it's just like, man, they're so into worshiping this man, yet how can you worship someone when you don't live anything like him? Is that worshiping? Like, or is that just prophesizing? Like, you're just like claiming. You're not actually doing it, you're just claiming. Like, it's like, oh, that's false. It's like fake news. It's like, dude, you were fake news. Like, what are you talking? Like, you're just saying all this mumbo jumbo, but you talk the talk, you do not walk the walk. And they get triggered when I'm like, yo, I'm walking the walk. They're like, but you're not talking the talk. How fucking dare you? You're not talking the talk. And it's just like, I see how people crucify Jesus. Like, sometimes I feel that way. Like, when I have these conversations, and it's just like, I'm just aware, and I'm just like, I'd rather just not deal with that. I've already repeated that interaction enough times to where it's just like, I just don't care to like defend myself and try to change your mind. I'll just accept you. I'll just accept you exactly as you are, where you are, how you view me, how you think of me, how true you think it is. And to me, oh, there it is again. That's really Jesus-like. I'd be like, look how Jesus-like I'm being. And that would trigger them even more. And it's just like, what greater way is there to worship someone than to be exactly like them? You can say you're like them. You can profess to them. You say, God, Lord, Christ, Jesus, you are my Savior. She's like, what good is that? Like, what? That's all you think it takes? Like, what? Like, really? So it's just like, it's so ironic to me. But I would love to have conversations with, emotionally mature religious people. And not that I'm not going to get triggered. I'm going to get triggered because it's a very triggering subject for me. But I'm just not going to take my trigger out on you. So I'm cool if anyone's watching this, regardless of the religion, I would love to just have conversations with you about this. Another thing that I find with religious people is that they don't change their perspective regardless of the information that they're presented with, which is quite annoying because it doesn't really allow for us to move and really find like what I would claim truth. They just operate from the sense that like this is truth and I'm not going to move. And I'm like, okay, respect, because I feel like I've found my truth. But I just kind of want to like have an open conversation about it. And I'm open to you presenting information to me that I'm not currently aware of and then changing my stance on it. And I feel like religious people don't do that. So if you're open-minded, if you're willing to change your perspective, and even if you're not, I'd love to just, I'm always open to getting new angles of perception. I'd love to have conversations with you guys or gals. And it's cool if you get triggered, because I will probably get triggered. I would just ask that you just don't take it out on me and point and blame at me. You kind of just process it, and I'll provide, a safe space as if, as I hope you would too to me, that if I get triggered and get emotional and, start getting teary or whatever it is, you don't use that against me. It's a respectful conversation. So if you can do that, and if you're watching this, whatever, 5 years from now, I would love to. I'm sure this is something I'm still going to care about. I would absolutely love to converse with you. But yeah, so that's kind of the video on this. Kind of multiple topics, kind of, long, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.